Welcome to the Explainer. All right, today we're tackling something that's, well, it's both fascinating and frankly a little terrifying, the confident AI lie. We're going to look at why AIs just make things up, the chaos that can cause for a business, and, most importantly, how you can build systems to keep them honest. So let's just dive right in with a real-world story that shows you exactly what's at stake here. A customer asks Air Canada's chatbot a pretty simple question about bereavement fares. The bot, with total, unblinking confidence, invents a policy. Just makes it up. When the airline obviously refused to honor this completely fake policy, a tribunal actually forced them to pay up. This wasn't just some tech glitch. It was a costly, very public disaster, all born from a single AI fabrication.
And that right there, that's what we call an AI hallucination. It's not just a simple mistake. It's when an AI serves up a completely false answer with the same polished, convincing tone as a correct one. You can think of it as the uncanny valley of information. It looks real, it sounds real, but underneath, it's totally empty. And it's that gap between the confident delivery and the factual emptiness that makes it so incredibly dangerous.
And believe me, this isn't some one-off thing. The risk is very, very real. We've seen lawyers get sanctioned by a court for citing 6 legal cases that ChatGPT just invented out of whole cloth. In another huge case, a single inaccurate answer from Google's AI during a public demo contributed to a staggering drop in its market value. We're talking tens of billions of dollars. So the consequences, they're not theoretical. They are financial, they are legal, and they can absolutely shatter a company's reputation. Okay, so we've seen the chaos this can cause. Now let's get to the heart of the problem, because to really solve this, you've got to understand it first.
So here's the absolute key to this whole thing. It isn't just about being wrong. It's about being convincingly wrong. The AI can spit out answers that are totally illogical or just not supported by any of the data it was given. The answer sounds plausible, you know? It looks right on the surface. But the second you scratch beneath that confident veneer, the whole thing just falls apart.
So you got to be asking, right? Why? Why do these super smart, incredibly powerful models just make stuff up? Are they trying to lie to us? Well, the answer is no, and the reason is baked into their very design.
Okay, this is the one idea you really need to get. At their core, these large language models, or LLMs, they are not built to be truthful. They are built to be plausible. Their number one job is to predict the next most likely word in a sentence, based on the mountains and mountains of text they were trained on.
This is a process called next token prediction. The model looks at your prompt, runs the numbers on what the most statistically probable next word is, adds it to the sentence, and then just does that again and again and again. But notice what's missing there? There is no fact-check step anywhere in that loop. So when the data gets a little thin, or you push it on a really niche topic, it just fills in the gaps with whatever sounds right, not what is right. This makes it a brilliant creative writer, but a dangerously unreliable accountant.
So how in the world do we fix this? If the problem is basically the AI trying to answer from a faulty closed-book memory, the solution is surprisingly simple. You give it an open-book exam.
And the main way we do this is with a technique called Retrieval-Augmented Generation, or RAG for short. The idea is, instead of letting the AI just pull answers from its massive, static, and sometimes wrong training data, RAG forces it to first go look up information from a trusted knowledge base that you control. Think of it like your company's internal documents.
Let's just walk through how this works, because its power is really in its simplicity. So first, a user asks a question. The system then searches your documents for the answer. It finds the relevant piece of text, attaches that text to the original prompt, and only then does it ask the AI to generate a response. All of a sudden, the AI is grounded in your company's reality, which just dramatically slashes the chance of it going rogue and making things up.
Now, it is super important not to get RAG confused with another technique you've probably heard about, fine-tuning. Think of it like this. RAG gives the AI a library card to look things up in real time. It's perfect for knowledge that changes, like your product specs or company policies. Fine-tuning, on the other hand, is like sending the AI to a special school to learn a new skill or a specific personality. So if you want your AI to be factual, you use RAG. If you want it to adopt your brand's voice, you fine-tune it.
But listen, RAG is amazing, but it's not a silver bullet. It's just one tool in the toolbox. To build something truly safe and robust, you need a complete safety framework. You need guardrails to keep your AI on the right path.
So the question is, how do you actually build that? Well, the answer isn't one magic fix. It's what we call a defense-in-depth framework. Think of it like multiple layers of security. each one designed to catch what the previous one might have missed.
So layer 1, control the input. This is your frontline defense. It's all about stopping bad stuff from even getting to the model in the first place. This layer uses rules and machine learning to block malicious or just plain confusing questions before they ever reach the AI. And remember, a bad prompt is way cheaper to block than it is to clean up after.
Next up, layer 2, govern the model. Think of this layer as the AI's conscience, or maybe its direct manager. You use really specific system prompts to give it clear instructions, like, you are a helpful assistant for Air Canada, and you must only use the provided policy document. Then, after the AI generates a response, but before it gets to the user, special filters scan it for any last-minute errors or hallucinations.
And finally, layer 3, and this is where the rubber really meets the road. Manage the workflow. This is all about embedding your real-world business rules. For example, you can set a rule that says an AI agent can process a refund up to $200 on its own, but anything over that needs a manager's approval. This final layer makes sure the AI operates safely within your actual business processes, which stops small errors from becoming really costly mistakes.
Whew, okay. We have covered a ton of ground. So now, let's boil all this down into a simple, actionable playbook that you can start using, like, today.
First things first, start treating your prompts like a critical safety tool. Be super specific. Don't just ask for regulations, ask for current Australian data privacy regulations as of this year. Try to avoid asking for a fixed number of examples because the AI might just invent a few to hit the quota. And maybe most important of all, give it an escape hatch. Tell it explicitly to say, I don't know, if it can't find a factual answer.
All right, number 2, and this is a big one. Always keep a human in the loop for anything important. Use the AI to generate a first draft, sure, but have a human expert verify every fact, every figure, every source before it goes out the door. For your customer-facing bots, lock them down to a defined playbook of common questions and make sure there's a clear way to escalate to a person. The single most important thing you can do is build a culture of healthy skepticism.
And all of this really leads to the single most important mindset shift you need to make. You can't just go out and buy a hallucination-free AI today. It doesn't exist. So instead of treating these things as random, unpredictable glitches, you have to treat them as a manageable operational risk, the same way you treat cybersecurity or data privacy. With the right tech, the right processes, and human oversight, you can build a system that safely harnesses the incredible power of AI.
So in the end, it all boils down to one simple question for your business. By putting in a layered defense with RAG, with guardrails, and with human oversight, you can make sure your AI is that powerful productivity tool and not the source of your next public relations nightmare. Thanks for joining this explainer.